So what are real numbers? What are real numbers anyway? I like to think about real numbers like the real numbers you're going to use in math. Think about it that way. These are really the numbers you're going to use in math. They're real numbers that are going to be numbers that are going to be tangible, and you're going to do tangible things with them in math. And the first two types of real numbers, there are only four that you're really going to deal with. The first two type of real numbers are whole numbers and integers. So a whole number is a number that it's zero or goes up positively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going all the way up to infinity. It's not a fraction, right? And then you have integers. Integers can be negative. So you can have negative 336, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. It's going to include 0, and it's going to go positively up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way going up to infinity. So when you deal with whole numbers or integers, you're not dealing with fractions, right? So then when you go on beyond that, what's the other type of real number, or the other main type of real number you're going to deal with? They're rational numbers. And rational numbers can be expressed as fractions or as a ratio of two integers. And when you think about that, when you actually divide it out and you actually express it as a decimal, because that's what you do when you do a fraction, you're actually dividing. When you express it as a decimal portion is going to repeat. It's either going to repeat or it's going to terminate. So let's take 1 divided by 3, for example. It's going to be 0.33333 and just keep going on. Well, that's rational. It has a pattern to it, right? And then if you have 2 divided by 4, well, that's going to terminate. That's going to be zero 0.5. So it's not going to keep going on. It's just going to terminate. So that's rational. Those are rational numbers. And then when you think about it, the last type of real number is going to be irrational numbers. These are essentially real numbers that are not rational. They're numbers that when you express them as a decimal, when you divide them or you express them as a decimal, they're going to not repeat, and they're not going to terminate. So let's take the most famous irrational number. Let's take pi, right? You talk about pi, you're going to get 3.14159. It's going to just keep going on. You're not going to see a pattern. It's not going to repeat, and therefore it's irrational. So those are the 4 types of real numbers you're going to deal with.